Hello everyone, and welcome to the finale of the Los Angeles Standard Open. It comes after the finals. It's the very end. I'm here with Keyan Jafari.
Nice
Congratulations, Keyan.
Thank you very much.
We have a shiny silver cup for you to commemorate your victory. This momentous occasion. All right, so you just won the Los Angeles Standard Open.
Yeah.
You're playing Blue-White Delver,
Yeah.
the enemy, as many of you may know it. Let's talk about your list, which is specifically a little different from most.
Yeah.
How'd you arrive at basically no Geists? You played Augur of Boluses and Talons. Let's start with the Augur of Bolus.
Well, originally I was playing Mono Blue Delver.
Okay.
And so I started off with Invisible Stalker and Augur with 16 land. And that list was testing pretty well. And I started thinking about Talon with Augur, because Augur is just nuts. You get a guy, he's a 1/3, so he's relevant in matchups like Zombies and Infect, where he blocks really well. And on top of that, he most of the time replaces himself. And so I started with Augur, and as I started playing Augur and seeing how good it was, I decided I wanted to try Talonrand with it, because if you have a Talonrand and an Augur, you're just getting insane card advantage against your opponent. Like you're pondering and you get a 2/2, which just is really unfair.
Sure.
And I ended up going with the blue-white land version, because Augur of Bolus into Celestial Purge against Zombies is just like, you can't ignore that. Like the Augur blocks their Gravecrawler and you purge the Messenger all for one card.
Yeah,
like,
so
he gets you all that, so it's pretty insane.
You wound up getting rid of you're white for sideboard cards, right?
Yeah,
like
white
you have
only
none
for
of the
sideboard cards, yeah.
Yep. And the sideboard cards are huge in matchups, especially Zombies.
Yeah,
when
it was
noted.
strictly for Zombies, was the blue-white part.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, like originally I was running Fog Bank in Mono Blue, and I was just like, this isn't cutting it, so I had to add the blue-white just for the Zombies matchup.
Sure, okay. And Talrand himself is your fatty of choice.
Yeah, and that's my favorite card in the deck.
Well, you've got a lot of spells, obviously, to turn on your Augurs and Talrands. Did you come up with like a minimum threshold to make your cards work there?
Originally, I wanted about 25, but I thought that was a little bit too ambitious, and I had to cut the lands a lot to get to that. So when I got to about 18 land and the 12 cantrips is where I started, and from there I went with the removal suite, and I chose 4 gut shots instead of 3 gut shots and a dismember, only thinking that there might be a lot of infect. So I might, like if I were to go back, I might add a dismember over a gut shot.
Sure.
But it was mostly I was going for at least 23 cards for Talrand.
I think that's a good number.
Yeah.
I've been playtesting that kind of deck myself, and 23, as soon as I got below 23, I always felt like...
you felt like you just didn't have enough. And I didn't want Augur to miss ever. Like if Augur misses, it's just a 1/3 for 2, but it can be relevant still in a lot of matchups. But often if he misses, you're bottoming 3 lands, which you don't want anyways, so it works pretty nicely.
That is one of the vulnerabilities of Augur. Often you're digging for either like a guy, a land, or a ponder, and he only finds one of those.
Yeah, no, and if you bottom a pike, it sucks really bad.
Yeah.
That's the worst part.
Yep. So you went round up running pikes for your equipment.
Yeah.
How'd you decide on those? Were they working out for you all day? Obviously,
well,
it's
with
become
Talrand
kind of standard.
and Pike together is just like you get a 2/2 and you're making your Pike bigger. And with Pike, I decided that over Moreland Hunt, I would run Inkmoth Nexus and Pike, because I assumed like there'd be like Naya decks or green-white decks that are going to go, Thragtusk, bounce Thragtusk with Angel again, like get 15 life. And if a lot of times you get an opponent that's at like 35, and 35 damage is a lot to get through while trying to survive, and a lot of people don't play around Inkmoth, so you just activate Inkmoth, put a Pike on it, and hit him for 10, and that happened 5 or 6 times yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of times.
Yeah.
Just yesterday we were talking about how Delver is very much a deck that feels like it's kind of situated to deal about 30 damage.
Yeah.
So like it can deal less than 30 easily,
and
over 30.
All my guys are 1/3s and 2/1s.
Yeah.
It's like if without the Pike, they're not going to get to that 30 damage threshold, so the Inkmoth Nexus was super relevant, and it's really good against Control, which I did play against Control yesterday.
Going into the top 8, were you really concerned about any of the matchups that you thought you'd face?
I played Zombies the first round in the top 8, which is not a good matchup, which is specifically why I added all the blue-white cards, but that went over pretty well. And then the blue-white mid-range deck is a little shaky, can be, depending on what they draw.
Sure.
And the finals was the Delver Mirror, which Talrand is insane in the Delver Mirror, so I wasn't worried about the Mirror too much.
Okay, so the finals was actually the matchup you felt the most comfortable in?
Yeah, that was the one I played Delver 5 times yesterday and didn't lose a game. Or didn't lose a match, sorry. I did lose a couple games.
Okay, a game is...
No, a match I meant to say, sorry.
I mean, you got to run good to win a tournament, right?
Yeah.
So, well, I think that's about all for us. We're going to take a quick break before we head into the Legacy Open. Thanks for joining us, Keyan. Congratulations again.
Thank you again.
And we'll see you guys with round 3 of the Legacy.